A massive thank you to all of our sponsors on the Suffolk Non-League show. Without their help and support this year, we would not have been able to have made the improvements that we have done to the show. Other than sponsoring one of our local sides, Grunsborough in the SIL, GBS are a family-run construction company in Ipswich operating nationwide with over 30 years experience in fire protection, diamond drilling, commercial building, health and safety and asbestos removal. Starling and Lock, a self-employed electrician since 1989 offering domestic work and certificates for people buying and selling houses, an NIC EIC member based in the Stowmarket, Suffolk area. All of the branding that you see on the Suffolk Non-League show comes from these guys at Matchday Marketing. They are a sports marketing and branding company helping enhance the image and profile of grassroots football and non-league clubs at a very low cost, utilising over 20 plus years in the game. All of the merchandise that is available with the Suffolk Non-League show has come from these guys at Your Shirts. They offer eye-catching, professional-looking garments for your business, team, club or organisation. They offer a range of printing methods to cover all individual costs. Doesn't matter if it's text, images or anything else that you require to look unique and stand out from the competition. These guys are creating our website and they can do the same for you. Clabber Creative are an agency based in Framlingham, Suffolk, offering fully managed football club websites. They are about giving your club a professional look, feel and ongoing support to maintain the site. Alpha Surveys, providing topographical and measured building surveys throughout East Anglia. If you are in need of quality surveys on any home improvements, contact Alpha Surveys on Instagram. Links for all of these companies will be in the description below. Go and check them out and tell them that DJam has sent you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to another episode of the Suffolk Non-League show. We are live once again. It's Monday, 8:30. We are across Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and of course, YouTube. I am once again joined by my colleague and good friend, Mr. Adam Wade. Adam, how are you doing this evening, sir? You well?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. I mean, the question on everyone's lips, James, is how was the christening? That's all we need to know about tonight.
Well, the guy who performed the entire ceremony was named John. So John the Baptist was in full
John the
flow
Baptist
on the weekends. It was
performing the incident.
Honestly, the moment I heard that his name was John, I lost it. I had to kind of compose myself for a moment. But yeah, no, it was, it is what it is. Could it have been done on a Sunday? Yes, but let's not go into that. Let's not open that whole can of worms. I've already been in trouble for mentioning it once before. Don't particularly want to do it again. So here we go. But yes, no, it was fine. Not the same as doing a match day experience, but there we go. So how's your weekend been? More importantly,
I've created some soundproofing.
right?
I was meant to go to the Witten game, but some confusion over should I or should I not be isolating meant I had to isolate until we hear further news. So I have missed, well, a game I was really looking forward to going to be honest, because I was looking forward to a bit of a away day on the coach. But yeah, got some more things sorted out for in here to improve the sound of things. I was sick of hearing the tumble dryer through the wall and had some acoustic stuff to sort out, so maybe my voice will sound that little bit more sensual tonight for everybody.
Nice. Enjoy that, everyone. Enjoy that. So before we get too far into tonight's show, as we always do, there are a number of ways in which you can help support the show if you want to take your support beyond the comments that you guys ping in and the likes, etc. You can, of course, go over to the Suffolk Non-League Show shop and purchase any of our merchandise, including t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and of course the famous Suffolk Non-League Show mugs, which I've seen pictures on in many offices at the moment, which is fantastic to see.
We need
You
to get
can
our
do.
t-shirt orders in, James. That
I know
reminds me.
we
I'm sick
really
of not
do.
having a t-shirt. We'll do that after the show tonight. You'll see us in it next week.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that sorted out because we've both got the hoodies, we've both got the coats, but we do need a t-shirt each. It's has to be said. But yes, of course, you can do a one-off donation to the show by going over to Ko-fi.com. I did have an anonymous person on the phone to me this afternoon, actually, which was really weird, saying that I can't work the Ko-fi link. I want to give you guys some money for the show. What's your bank account details? And I was like, okay, I can do that. That's absolutely fine. But all you need to do is click on kofi.com/Suffolk Non-League Show. It's in the description. And you can literally just fill in your details. It's as simple as purchasing an item online. There's not an awful lot to it. But, like these guys have done, they've made one-off donations, as, of course, have these guys on the second page here. Or if you want to go one step beyond all of that, you can, of course, go over to Patreon and, like these absolute legends have, put a monthly amount towards the show, which would be absolutely fantastic. Any amount that you put towards it really does help make massive improvements, as Adam has demonstrated with his sound quality over the weekend. I'm sure that money has all come from Patreons, etc., to put towards the show. But so if you want to help us out, patreon.com/DJam. Right, let's get loads, because Jesus Christ, there's so many comments. This might take a while. Harvey is here. Evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. Vinny's in the building. Good evening, my man. Evening, guys. First of all, has anyone not sure what that is? Has anyone recorder? I'm not entirely sure. Not what that means.
I'm not going to be playing the recorder.
Yeah. Yeah. Ipswich Exiles are here. Evening, guys, from Mark. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hannah, once again, well done on your retweets and stuff that's been going on with the FA over the weekend. Very, very impressive photography skills there. If you guys haven't checked it, go over to Hannah's page.
Big weekend for Hannah.
The past 24 hours have gone a bit crazy, but in a good way. In a very, very good way. Andy's here. Evening, mate. Irva's in the building. Evening, everybody. Maverick is here. Evening, Harry. Brown's here. Evening, lads. Evening, Harry. Hope you're good. Mickey's in the building. Evening. Here he is, the big man. Tony's here. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. James is here. Evening, everybody. Reese. I'm not sure I've seen Reese's name in the chat before, but good evening. Hope you're well, Reese. Hope you're doing all right. There they are. Lake and Heath, the actual Twitter. The official
famous
YouTube
boys.
account.
Famous boys tonight. Yeah. The Lake and Heath ones are after being on ITV tonight.
I'm just about to say that. Did you see that they were on Anglia News this evening?
Yeah.
But you beat me to it.
Donovan presenting that tonight is amazing.
Is he still doing that?
Well, Donovan, yeah.
Bloody hell.
He's class though.
No, I know he is. I know,
he's
but
absolutely class. I've got so much time for him. He's I think he's just been the constant for sport in this area since we were kids.
Yeah, true. I remember him back in the day having to cover quite a lot of Norwich's games, and obviously with him being an Ipswich fan, you could just hear it in his commentary voice that a part of him died every single time that Norwich scored. It was, it's quite something. Welcome back, says Irv on there. Evening, Dan. Hope you're doing well. Glenn's here as well. Evening. MV Videos, obviously the guys who record all of the footage at March Town. Evening. Hope you're doing well. Use the Fox. Hello, lads. Looking forward to the show. Yes, so are we. Evening, chaps. From Terry. Evening starts here. I hope you're not getting in too much trouble by being here. I don't know if you know this, Adam, but I was actually. I think you would do. I was actually at a meal tonight. We booked ourselves into a restaurant in Ipswich for 5:00, and I rushed back to get in time tonight. I was this close to being sat here in a shirt and tie. That's how close.
Out for a meal in a shirt and tie. Good grief!
It's our 5-year anniversary. I thought, why not make
an effort, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to be done, isn't it? It's got to be done. We've stretched the weekend out from a Friday celebration to the Monday, and I thought, we'll go out for a meal, but I've got to be back in time for this because I can't.
It's just a bit posh for McDonald's. That's the only thing I'd say.
Yeah, honestly, the servers were not impressed, but I thought, why the hell not? Dan, what a weekend it was. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Sean is here. Evening, gents. Another Monday night. These weeks are flying. They really are. Honestly, it felt like we were literally like this close to going, right, the football's nearly back. It's nearly back. And now we're a few weeks in already. It's crazy. Mike's here. Tony again. Irv, I've watched it all back today. Oh God, there's actually loads of comments.
It's good to have Vinny back in. He's been gone for a long time.
Has anyone recorded the third goal? I have got footage of the goal from Claydon. I know the one you're talking about. It will be played later on in the show, and it is an absolute screamer. I don't know if you've seen it, Adam, but I will be playing it later on.
I haven't seen many goals this weekend.
Paul is here. Evening, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Honestly, loads of people. Mickey,
this is mental.
Just want to congratulate Ipswich Vale Exiles on their results Saturday. I'd also like to apologise for my comments on other members of the club. Fair enough. Don't know what that's about, but
still big thing to do. Would I admit?
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, Trimley have a YouTube channel, so Claydon Goal will be on it. Yes, it will do later on, I'm sure. Yeah. We do have footage of it, Dan. Don't worry, I'll be playing it all in a moment. And final one is from the Sheringham lads. Evening, chaps. Hope you're well. And from Liam, Christ above, there's absolutely loads of you. So much love from every one of you. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Remember, before we get too far into it, hit the like button if you're watching from a YouTube perspective. Tweet the video around if you're on Twitter now. And if you're on Facebook, share it to as many people as you can. Get it in your WhatsApp chats because there are going to be loads of results that we're reacting to tonight.
Have some fun tonight as well.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll get past the main topic, which I know I can see already a lot of you are talking about in the comment section. And then once we get beyond that, we'll get into the actual side of the football. Adam, we can't start tonight's show without talking about the main news that a lot of people would have seen from the weekend. It was involving the game between Ipswich Wanderers and Brimsdown in the Furlough Nunn South.
Yep.
For those of you who are unaware, maybe of what has gone on, for those of you who already got in the comment section, you will know possibly some of the circumstances of what has been said online. Just to give a little bit of context.
Allow us to handle this both delicately and on balance is what I will preface this with before we go further. Be careful in the comments as well.
Yeah, do not say anything that will make you look like an idiot. That's all I'm going to say. Before we go too far.
Comment on it, chat about it, just be careful.
So, a little bit of context behind what was going on. So, in the game, I think the score was at 7-0, wasn't it, to Ipswich Wanderers? It was 7-0 at the point in the second half. There has then been, and we have to say this, an alleged allegation of a racist remark made towards a Brimsdown player. Now, we'll get into the statements from both clubs to begin with, but when the news kind of broke that the game had been abandoned, obviously speculation goes into overdrive on Twitter and on Facebook, etc., etc. It all goes a bit crazy. There's messages pinging off left, right, and centre. People are tweeting out things in the heat of the moment that maybe shouldn't have been said or shouldn't have been done. Things get deleted very, very quickly, but we do have both teams' statements as of this point, and then we're going to talk about it in a bit of detail. So if we start off by reading the Brimsdown statement, because I think obviously they're the people
the best place to start because that's where the incident has been alleged.
Correct. So the game has been abandoned due to a racial comment to our player during a second half from a home team fan.
That was corrected as well. Just to say, because Vinny's put a remark in, the first time they tweeted out, they put an away fan.
Correct, they did. Yeah, because obviously the game was at Ipswich Wanderers, again, for those of you who are unaware. We do not want to hold this comment responsible to the club, as it is not fair. Racism is not accepted on any platform. Our player has been assaulted racially, and we have people who have heard it. We will be taking all of the correct actions to come to the bottom of this. We are taking this seriously and appreciate all of the support to our club. This type of assault can happen to anyone, and we need to try our best to stop it. Yes, we were losing 6-0 in the first half and resumed our second half. It is nothing to do with the result. So that is what Brimsdown have said. Ipswich Wanderers, again, we haven't got access to the deleted tweets. Some of you may well have seen them.
They're deleted for a reason as well. We'll keep them that way.
Yeah. Ipswich Wanderers put out this statement, very, very brief and to the point. Has said that Ipswich Wanderers are one of the most multi-racial clubs in Suffolk. We are a club of huge diversity, as are the clubs who also play at the Humber Dowsey Lane. We do not condone racism in any form, and will cooperate fully with any inquiry. And that was the statement made by Stephen, the Ipswich chairman. Now, various people have got in contact with us from both sides of the argument in private, wanting to remain that way. We're getting a lot of comments saying that it just simply didn't happen. It's not true. We never heard anything. If we did, we would have said something. We would have stood up. We would have supported that player, etc. A lot of comments come from the other side saying, well, yes, it did happen. We've got witnesses to prove that this can happen, etc., etc. Look, it's difficult because it is going to be one person's word against another, because there's no, I mean, unless somebody was recording it, which I highly doubt.
I think if it's been recorded, it would have come out by now. I mean, what I'd like to say on it is, doing this kind of stuff is my job now. Like I've been very cagey about what my job is, but my job is to now look after inclusion, diversity, well-being, and culture within an enormous organisation. So I'm not afraid to talk about this because I think it's really important that it doesn't get brushed under the carpet, and it goes from both sides, and I want to present it from both sides because two sides to an argument have been offered, and it's did it happen, didn't it happen. Now, in the most serious instance, racism, it's not, we don't stand for it, we're completely against it, and obviously kick it out campaign is the oldest one that's been in the game, but over the years there's been a more and more emphasis on driving that out of the game, and I think we saw what happened at the Euros. I think is a very good way to contextualize the fact that as a nation we're uniting against it. We know it exists, but we unite against it. And for me, the worry that may have happened at a local club is quite sickening. Okay, so if it has happened, like, it's quite worrying. I'd hate to think that was amongst our local teams, and I think everyone involved would also be equally disgusted to know that was, amongst the supporter base and everything else. And it's a huge concern that allegation stands.
Yeah.
What I'd like to say on the flip side of it, though, is it sickens me equally that there's an argument against it, and this is where the investigation needs to take place. Because there are loads and loads of people piling in with different comments and different points of view.
Yeah.
And we need whatever the due process is to take place before having any further comment on it, because it's as equally damaging to members of a BAME community if this allegation turns out to be false as it is if it's happened at all. And both circumstances, for me, this is a difficult thing to talk about broadly, because it's quite early on, and both instances, whatever the result, I'm worried. I'm really worried, because you don't want to know of racism happening. Like it's there. We all accept the fact that it exists, but you don't want to believe it's right at your doorstep. Equally, I'd be absolutely horrified if people were using that as an excuse for games to be ended. Or as some way of getting out of things, or making false allegations against people to land people in trouble. And those are the two sides of the coin that are being presented, and I'm very concerned either way.
And this is the thing. I just want to reiterate: this is not what myself and Adam are saying. We're not saying that we believe that this is a false allegation and that it's being made up. This is what we are being told is one side of the argument, that this simply did not happen. And, whether or not it's been premeditated, whether or not it's something that was planned, that is something that some people are alleging has taken place.
I think you have to also look at the context of what happened and the fact that the player had just been sent off as well.
Right.
So, my understanding is it's the player that had just been sent off that this occurred to. So there's lots that could have gone on in the heat of that moment. And I think that's where people are saying it needs to be played out. It needs to be investigated fully. Who knows what the officials heard? One thing I'd like to bring to this, and it's something that I'm working on through work, is that what we don't understand individually is each other's individual tolerance levels. And when somebody passes a comment, some people may not see that to be racist. Some
Correct.
people may not see that comment to be attacking of somebody's gender, of somebody's sexuality, of their heritage. But another person may take deep offense to what that was said on those grounds. And until that can play out, until that part of the report can happen, that's where you don't understand. And that's where you don't understand what affects people. And that's where you've got to be mindful of, in terms of not knowing at this such early stage what was said, how it was said.
Yeah.
And it just needs to remain balanced until such a time that it plays out.
And
Stephen Trefy's statement is the one that should have come out first, I believe, and I think there was a bit of a mistake there, but there's obvious fury in the fact that of what's
emotions running high at the time.
Yeah,
And it's very tricky. I've seen loads of comments. I haven't read any of them yet. I'm going to go through those all in a bit because I wanted just to actually listen to what Adam was talking about because of the new job that he has got. This is something that is what you now do for a living. So I wanted to just sit there and not half listen, scroll through comments, etc., and try and find stuff that I can put up on the screen. I think what is very important to remember is that there is an individual involved in this who has made this allegation, and we have to remember that they are the most important part in all of this as well, because we don't know what that person is currently going through right now. We don't know what their mindset is, how they're thinking, how all of this is being portrayed online, because online stuff does spread very quickly, doesn't it? It doesn't matter what level of the game it is, something like this to come out, we don't know how that person is handling this. And, that person, for me, is the most important part of this, as is the person who is having the allegation made against them.
I think it's worrying on a multitude of levels. It's worrying for players, it's worrying for spectators, worrying for clubs, worrying for the league. It's there, it's out there now. And I think it needs to be dealt with quite promptly, but it's not simple.
I don't know who actually would go about dealing with it. Would it be the league? Would it be the FA? Is it now a matter of the police? Because if an allegation like that has been made, surely that's now in the hands of the police.
I had an understanding that when allegations of those sorts were made, it went through the referee as well, because then it could be progressed through the FA if they needed to. But I don't actually understand that process fully within football, because luckily it's not something that I have been made aware of really too many times, where I've never witnessed something like this, thank goodness. And I just hope it gets ironed out and decisive action can be made in the right way. There's a few things I worry about longer term. I really worry about the return fixture.
Yeah. So the point for later on down the line, but yes, you are right.
And any resentment that would reside on both sides. And I don't know, there'll be some tough times ahead, and I know Ipswich Wanderers will know that they've got some tricky waters to navigate and to get sorted out, and I'm sure they'll be going about it in the best way possible. And in a way, I think that the one thing I could say, I probably commend them for deleting the tweets that were made in the right place in the first place, and actually now going about it with a clear statement of intent as to what they want to do. And go about it in the right way.
Yeah, I hope you guys understand. I'm only going to be bringing up a selected comments on the screen at the moment. Got Ipswich Town on here saying, I wasn't there, but unless you have stonewall evidence, you shouldn't dismiss something this serious. 100%. No, 100%. Maverick, I don't understand why the alleged perpetrator was not dealt with immediately. Well, again, unless we were there, we don't know whether or not that person was or wasn't dealt with in the appropriate way. We just don't know. Andy's put, clubs must be mindful on how they handle such events online. You are guilty until proven innocent online, which I think is actually it's an appropriate statement, isn't it? It should be the other way around, but nowadays with online and social media, it 100% is. Terry's put, if it did or didn't happen, it has to be taken seriously. It is essential to deal with these situations. Maverick just simply put, not acceptable in any walk of life. Vinny, there are too many people are commenting that don't know the ins and outs, need to let it play out and see what the outcome is. Agree. We've been asked to talk about it, Vinny, and we will as much as we know. And once we get more information and we are able to understand more about it, then we will.
That's a social media thing, though, isn't it, as well? That as soon as that's out there, then there will be a lot of input from broader sources, which will, add to the mixing pot of things.
Is Israel Exiles have put terrible stuff. One thing I haven't seen is any sympathy for the player. Poor guy has been forgotten about because of the conspiracy theories around it. Again, kind of, echo what I said, but yeah, I completely agree with that. It only takes one wrong comment. Unfortunately, people say things without realizing, which I suppose is what you kind of reiterated earlier on. Something that doesn't affect you could easily affect 10 other people around you, and you just don't know.
Yeah.
Tony, at Crane versus Henley, when it happened there were many witnesses. It was dealt with quickly by both sides officials until evidence is heard. Best to withhold any opinion. Irva's just put well said, Adam, on that. Couldn't agree more, Tony, says Vinny. And this player who is now being accused by some of lying is ridiculous. Andy's put on here, it will be a county FA investigation and possibly national FA. Correct, with support of victims from the FA to press charges if they wish.
It'll be interesting to see what they want to do, because in the statement that the away club put out, they actually almost exempted Ipswich from action. I mean, if you bring the statement back up, there was one line in there which made it very interesting, which I wouldn't expect to have been put in a statement. We do not want to hold this comment responsible to the club as it's not fair. Racism is not accepted in any platform. Now, I found that an odd one.
Right.
And in what way? Clubs should set charters of standards as to how they expect supporters to behave when they come in.
Right.
And that's fairly normal. That there is a charter standard for people in terms of their behaviour on terraces and stuff. So for them to absolve Wanderers of it in that statement, it is interesting. But at the moment, there's two parties at the centre of a debate which needs to be solved, and it's quite complicated. And it does need to play out.
One final comment I'm going to bring up on here before we kind of move on, because again, as far as we know, look, this is the allegation that's been made. Here are the two statements that have been provided. Until more is investigated, that's about as much as we can kind of say on things. So we'll try and kind of wrap things up. Look,
appreciate some of the bravery though in some of those comments as well. In terms of people, I appreciate some of the bravery in some of those comments as well. Like noting that need to think about the player and his state and everything else as well. There's a lot to it besides an incident in a game. It goes way beyond that. No, I agree with that. We've got on here, the club should be held accountable, but doesn't mean that they are responsible. And put on here, the tweets that were made shouldn't have been deleted. They should have apologized for them, not hidden them. It's an interesting way of looking at it. I think you do often see, regardless of what happens on these, on any incident where companies made what others perceive to be a mistake, the tweets are very quickly deleted, aren't they? They don't want them to be out there. It's an interesting way of putting it, though, because it shows a story of learning, I guess, as well. If you're to put that, and I don't know.
Shame that hate is still the biggest topic in our beautiful game. It's something that we hate to see, hate
good
to talk
to round
about.
this up, this section.
But it's it unfortunately, this is the most requested thing that people have asked us to talk about this week. And we can't ignore it as a show. We don't want to ignore it. We want to be part of whatever a solution may be. So we don't necessarily have the answers, but we want to be there to help and support. If that makes any sense at all, we don't want to just be sitting there and ignoring something that's been talked about by many. So
there's a lot of integrity at stake both ways because of the way this has been presented, and it's quite worrying.
That's if it had and please don't take this what I mean in the wrong way, but if it had just been an allegation's been made, no statement has been said from the club who the allegation has been made against, then you just let those kind of things play their due course. But because a counter argument has been put across, it's that's where things get a bit tricky and very
complicated in a very unprecedented way.
Yeah, exactly right. But as I said, we will hopefully relevant authorities will get involved and this will all be sorted out. And we can have a resolution to it very quickly. But we felt it was important to talk about it. We hope it's been handled in the right way. If anybody has got any comments they want to make to myself or Adam after the show, they don't want to say it in the chat, you want to talk to us about it in private, please get in contact with us and we'll do our utmost to have a conversation about it.
So feel free, like I say, this is what I do for my day job. So any support, I'm happy to lend it.
Yeah, 100%. Terry, bringing attention to it will only help the conversation and the issues. Fingers crossed, I hope. Yeah, that's exactly what we hope as well. So let's move on to our next talking point. We had the news coming out from the FA about live streaming and certain time periods of the year where you will not be allowed to live stream 3 p.m. kickoffs.
First time the FA has been really explicit because of the changes that happened last year where you could just live stream anything. Huge step backwards for me. Non-league, like, it's at this cusp of innovation now where people have started to get the technology available. A good example is the new VO camera is going to allow immediate live streaming of all games. If anyone is looking for a VO camera, I strongly recommend you look at VO2. After watching, I was invited, I had an early invite and sort of watched this sort of press conference thing that they had. And I was absolutely blown away by the things that can do. But it's so frustrating that we now have the technology to live stream everything, and there are broad blanket bans from 3 p.m.s. So
yeah, just to clarify, this is the statement that kind of came out from the FA that simply reads: non-league clubs will be unable to stream 3 p.m. kickoffs for most of this season. Clubs have been told that blocked hours for streaming matches in the non-league system between step 1 to 6 will be reintroduced this season. The block hours are every Saturday, occurring during each period set out below between the hours of 2:45 and 5:15, and you've got a whole set of dates on there as to when you are not allowed to live stream. So ways of getting around this: midweek games, live stream the crap out of them. Friday night games, you can live stream the crap out of them. 5 p.m. kickoffs, go for it. Fill your boots.
5:30,
Sundays, midday kickoffs.
What I would say is this presents a
Spin the 3 o'clocks off, lads. Spin the 3 o'clocks.
This presents the first strong argument where step 7 and below can innovate and bring something non-league to an audience that it has. Like, the power is there now.
Yeah,
it costs a little bit, and it's more volunteers, but.
And the deal had been signed, hadn't it, at step 3 and 4 to be able to live stream to games, and
that stands because that's for a private company, so they can do the kickoff, they can do anything but the 3 p.m. kickoff. So I don't know how games will get moved and how that will work, but that deal still stands.
Okay, because I think in their previous statement they did kind of refer back to, we don't know how we're going to be able to present this, but we have an idea in mind. So I'm guessing they already knew that this was going to be coming into play, because it does seem a bit odd. But
but anyone step 7 and below can go wild now with the technology becoming available.
What do you guys think about it? As people who are involved in clubs at non-league level, if you are a spectator, whatever, a fan, a coach, a player, let us know in the comment section right now. Are you bothered by this news? Do you think is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Would you rather more people actually at the games? What do you make of it? Because I don't know. It just, for me, I don't know, just change some of your kickoffs around. Like there's going to be plenty of midweek games, isn't there, this season anyway? So those games can be live streamed, and maybe just being a little bit flexible on some of your kickoff times. I'm not sure, but
there is more capacity this year because of the additional midweek games higher up the pyramid.
Yeah.
But it's that thing where, do people do it just to do the Tuesdays, or do they not bother having the setup because they can't do it every week? It's like, oh, well, if I can't do it every week, can I be bothered at all?
Yeah, when it's not there constantly, some people will just simply forget about it, won't they? And just won't bother. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. Let's get some of your comments up here. Alex has put, after the last 19 months with clubs struggling, it would have been nice that the FA allowed clubs lower down the pyramid to stream games for some additional income. Agree with that?
Yep. To a point.
Right. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, it goes on to Vinny's point in a way, where they'll get more. They will get more income if people can come through the door.
Yeah. So Vinny's put, I don't think clubs should be live streamed any higher than step 7 anyway. Why would they want people to not turn up to games? Getting fans through the gates is essential to those clubs. I think maybe, as I mentioned when the news first came out, it's more of a benefit for you if you are a fan of that club watching an away game, that maybe you can't travel, for somebody like Needham, some of the distances that they have to travel. If you don't want to go to that away game, just being able to stick it on and
to make it work, though, the problem would be, like, financially, you'd have to make the price more than the price of a ticket, and you'd have to pay for the broadcasting, and then you'd be at more than £10 per live stream, and then you start to think clubs are at a loss and attendances drop and secondary income drops. But I think that maybe it's a little bit heavy-handed going all the way. I'd maybe allow steps 5 and 6 possibly to do it, because I think you can get a bit of a growing market, and maybe just test case it, and see how a test would run for a while. I'm not sure if enough clubs have the technology to do it, and that's the thing. I think in the coming 5 years we would see change in this space.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see us work with that over time.
Yeah.
Not stick with archaic rules. I mean, I'm not going to be presumptuous, but the FA do sometimes go a little bit archaic with things, and we need to be equipped for a changing world, a changing way of consuming media, full stop.
Yeah. User Fox, I'm sure if it was in the FA's financial interest, they'd quickly change their minds. Fair enough. I understand at step 1, but 2 to 6 should be able to. I'd love to see some SIL Intermediate C being live streamed. Still can be done.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah. If the clubs have got the technology, why not? Alex, totally agree. More for those who can't make a game, in brackets, away games. Maverick has put, so it's just stream the away games only.
Yeah, but the away games are a home game for somebody else. It then comes down to whose portal do you buy the pass through?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that doesn't really work. I get the intention there, but somebody's at home.
Yeah. Which is exactly what Vinny just said. Streaming away games only wouldn't be feasible, as one of the teams would be in a home team. Lake and Heath have put, if we were to stream games, I think we would just allow Lake and Heath members and fans who cannot attend away games to watch. So I think the away games thing is more of a feature for a lot of people, rather than the actual home side of it. But
this whole thing that Maverick's actually gone on a thread of having like club members as well that would then control a system. That would be quite wise.
Yeah.
So if you had like a selection of people that paid to be a club member so that you already knew you'd got that sign up, that would be that's an interesting way of overcoming it. And it would direct the finances through that club's portal so that they wouldn't miss out, like Vinny said. So if it was an away game and you went through the club's portal, so if you're a member, you can then buy a pass to watch it, but your member pass only works through that portal, so you can't buy a ticket for the home team.
Yeah.
And the home team are still forced to get the gate. So home teams can't get in the away team's portal to buy the tickets. That would work.
It's interesting. It's a good way of looking at it. But yeah, so there's that bit of news as well.
You can imagine like IPTV, can't you? Which at the minute you can get anything sort of streamed rather illegally, but you can imagine it's sort of listing Lakenheath versus Mulbarton on a Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m.
Yeah,
alongside Man City, Man United.
Ollie's just put, you still can't beat the match day atmosphere though. No,
you're right, Ollie.
Yeah, 100%. Usage put on it. This is a brilliant idea in theory, but the cost involved in setting this up would be enormous.
So the new VO is £900, £300 for a stand, about £50 a month for the membership, and £25 a month extra to stream it. Then you've got to pay for the web portal to make it work, which is a few £100 a year. It would probably make its money back, especially if you had it sponsored.
Yeah, that's the crucial bit. If you've got somebody who can just chuck money around and pay for that, then no problem. But yeah, a lot of clubs are going to have to get.
I think at SAL level, no. I wouldn't expect to see money come back very easily.
No.
Would you pay £10 a game to watch SAL Intermediate C, James?
Well, no, not when I can go watch it for free. No.
This is the thing, isn't it? Because it's so local, you're not going to get someone sort of tune in from the Philippines and pay a tenner, are you?
Well, don't know. You might do. You never know.
The geography. No, I can't imagine that there's a big following in the Philippines for the SAL.
It depends how good the graphics are. If you can put a good graphic together of how.
There's a full graphic pack on the new VO as well. So it's got the score in the top corner, the time, everything. It's all included. Brilliant. It's amazing.
Superb stuff. Maverick, non-starter SIL and travel distance is not really an issue. Mickey, I would pay £10 to watch Camilo Douglas smash one in the top bins after beating 3 players. There we go. So, moving on. There's not really been, other than those 2 items of news that we talked about, there's not really been that much kind of breaking news, which is absolutely superb from our perspective, because there is a lot of results and fixtures to talk about. And we've now got, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 5 divisions kicking off this upcoming weekend with all of their fixtures coming up. So we've got a lot to go through and talk about from that perspective. We've had a lot of goals coming in and sent over to us, which has been absolutely fantastic. We really, really appreciate that.
Start of the snowball.
Yes, 100%. But before we kind of delve too much into that, just to let everybody know that tomorrow night, myself and Adam will be going live with the non-league now. This is the 2nd episode of it. We live streamed last week on Tuesday. We'll be doing the same thing tomorrow night, 7:40, reacting to all of the latest scores as they come in through the divisions. We've got furlough none action, we've got FA Cup action to go through, and it will be a really good way of being able to give you guys updates about what is going on in the non-league scene. We hope as many of you can join us as is possible. If you are going to a game and you want to be able to give us a report, or you want to send in goal footage as it comes in for the live show, make sure you reach out to me on Twitter. Give me a DM or or send me an email, rather, djamfm@gmail.com, and we'll make sure we can get some of your footage and your reports live on the show.
Can I just have 2 minutes on this
myself? Go on.
Last week I was at a game and I participated as basically like in a cami role, really, just sort of reporting from half-time and full-time. When I got home, I wasn't feeling very sleepy, so I sat up and watched the entire thing. And I didn't get home till about midnight because we sat in the bar after the game. How incredible! Like everybody getting involved and stuff. Like from myself, like this was an idea that James came up with on a lunch break. Smashed it together the next day with a quick thing out. That this idea could be enormous. It already got more views in a day than the last week's live show got.
Yeah,
which is meant to be our flagship.
It
And people were jumping on it, dialing in absolutely fearlessly, just filming the pictures it was going on and stuff. It was absolutely awesome. And
yeah,
it was exactly what we wanted. And the more people that will input over time, and the more people that will just ping a message to us and say they want to come on or just have a quick chat whilst you don't even have to have your face on the camera. Film the pitch and have a chat to us on the camera. Absolutely insane. It was so good.
yeah.
And it's something different for non-league. I don't think anyone's doing this. And at the moment, it's Suffolk, Norfolk, Essex that we're looking at. This has got such potential for us just to dip into different leagues as different people want to phone us and tell us what's going on. It would be absolutely amazing just to get more and more of you just as your own correspondents in your own right, because
100%.
it's making you as much a part of the show as we are. You are absolutely crucial to it. So a huge thank you from me. I'm not going to go into it in loads more detail. I have ideas in mind as to how to make it a little bit different with the green screens behind us and stuff, and we can go proper Sky Studio. So we'll have some fun with it, and I think going forwards, it could be something really big for us. I know the match day experience has been really, really popular over time, but to now produce something from it whereby you're bringing us your very own match day experiences and we can simultaneously deliver all of them at the same time, that's special.
Yeah, no, definitely. Some of your comments on here, Glenn, for Christ's sake, could we live stream to christenings?
I'm sure we could.
I'm not sure. It depends on who's being christened, because if they're below a certain age, that opens up a whole can of worms from a YouTube perspective about who you can and can't. Anyway. Could we do it? No, probably not. Although the match day experiences from Asda and Audi will be coming to you very, very soon. Ollie, talking about the Ipswich Wanderers thing. Yes, we've already talked about that.
Yeah, please rewatch in your own time.
Yeah. Maverick, can you get guys to tip the phone sideways when they're doing it? Yes, we will make sure.
I'm thinking about producing a very, very small pack of notes to people, just phone sideways, try and get your whole face in. So like Jacob Lay's nostrils looked sublime last week, poor lad.
Alex, watching it back, it was class. Thank you, really appreciate it, because literally that was thought of the lunchtime the day before this idea, and Adam said, yeah, go on, try it, see how that goes. I think it could be something quite decent. And then it's just kind of exploded and people want more of it, which is brilliant. All you need is to get Jeff Stelling involved. Well, apparently it's James Sterling. There's James Sterling apparently now, which is what I got called in the last live show, which is brilliant. Dan, looking forward to bringing updates from the Thetford game tomorrow night. Yes, we've already got Dan signed up for that. Which
goals, Dan.
Exactly. Yeah, where Dan goes, there are goals. Irv, I missed it, and I'll be missing it tomorrow. Don't worry, you can watch it all back. It's all going to be on the channel later on. Don't worry about that. Match day, I'll be a Norfolk correspondent if I can get to a game tomorrow night. Yes mate. Yes. Dial in, please do. Alex, suits next time, please, though. Yes.
That could be fun.
I nearly wore one tonight.
We could probably do this. Make it a bit more formal.
Yeah.
Get the sort of dynamic blue newsroom behind us rendered in 3D.
There's been a goal at March, but who to?
I don't know. No idea.
Has there?
It's foggy here. It's foggy. The lights are terrible.
One of the floodlights is out. I can't see. Brilliant. Tony, views of the show were low last week due to the poor guest. Don't put yourself down, mate. Hannah, I watched it back after the Hadley game. You absolutely smashed it. Really appreciate that. Next Wednesday is midweek SIL senior fixtures. Will there be one? Ooh, I will get clearance from the boss. I'm sure we can make it happen.
I'm on holiday for the next 2 weeks, possibly.
Actually, no, I can. I can actually. She's not here. Yes, yes, I can. Dan, we will make it a reality. We will make it a reality. Can see Adam in a moss and sheepskin coat.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do now, Mel? I'm going to be looking on eBay for a sheepskin in XXL.
Oh, please do. I want you reporting.
It'd be a bit stinky though, wouldn't it? It would be stinky.
Yeah, but no, we need to make that happen. Can we send Adam to cover a hashtag game? I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can.
No,
do you know what?
Can't. No.
It will be. We will do it some games, and I haven't told Adam this, but we will do it so that he's hosting, and then I dial in, so we can maybe get a match day experience done. I dial in at half time, and Adam can do the show.
It'll probably be called non-league at some point, because it certainly won't be now that you get all of the updates.
We'll come into that later on. Yeah, match day marketing. Go to Mulbarton versus Lakenheath tomorrow. That is going to be a brilliant game.
Be a naughty game.
Sheringham might be going to an Angling Com game tomorrow, not scouting in case Norfolk and Chance is watching. Oh, brilliant. Vinny, I'll be at the Ransoms Vale game, so I'll send you updates for that next Wednesday. Love that. Remember, SIL games kick off at 6:30. Yes, very, very true. I'm sure we can make this happen. If people want it, I'm sure we can make this happen. Both of you reporting in Mankini's would Mankini's would get the views up. No, they wouldn't. They really wouldn't.
Last week it was the topless promise, and it escalated to a Mankini straight away.
Yeah, brilliant. And Dan's going to be at Claydon. Yeah, I'd love for people to. We can make this happen. We can 100% make this happen. But let's get into some of the scorelines that were going on this weekend. If we start off with the FA Cup and some of the results from that.
Have you got the Witten poster to put up very quickly?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah, you did mention it. Right. Adam, plug away, my friend. Plug away.
So we've received this from Witten, and I haven't made this, or I've been sent it this afternoon by James Bloomfield. So there's a vacancy at Witten at the moment for a reserve team manager. So you'll be working alongside first team and under 18s to complete a clear pathway, passion for developing players, and want to be part of an ambitious club. You can join the team at Witten. There's details on the screen. Contacting secretary at wittenunited.co.uk is the easiest way to get a initial chat booked in and meet the guys and work out what you want to do. Closing date is the 11th of August. You've got 2 days.
Cool. No wonder they wanted us to advertise it. Bloody hell!
They may extend it.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
But if you are interested in it, get in touch with the guys there. Lots and lots going on at Witten at the moment, and if you're lucky, Hannah might even throw in a headshot as well for your dating profiles.
Nice.
That's the best I can do in the way of payment.
Brilliant. Right, let's get into the FA Cup then. So, first of all, here are some of the results from the weekend. Unfortunately, Thetford went out with a 4-3 defeat.
Oh my goodness! Did you see Thetford's Twitter feed?
No.
They only called Arlesey once. Otherwise, for most of the afternoon, they were Arsey.
Right.
Which I was killing myself at. Arsey Town scoring. And Ardley. So it was quite difficult to work out who they were actually playing, but Arsley was unbelievable, and they just kept at it.
Brilliant.
So big respect for Arsley for winning 4-3. Big respect for Thetford Town's Twitter account, which never fails to make me absolutely die with its bluntness. I still live for moments when they played Ely away last season, and the Ely striker missed. I think their commentary was like, Ely striker misses, ball sailing towards the cathedral spire.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I'll
So
let you
yeah,
carry on, but I
no,
couldn't
you're
let that one
fine.
slide.
You're fine. We had the all furlough none affair between Brantham and Galston, and what a game it was. The end result was 4-3 to Brantham, an unbelievable scoreline. We saw March Town exit the competition. They lost 4-2 away to Budbrook. Budbrook rather. We had Haverhill and Coggenhoe draw 0-0. Woodbridge went out to Corby 3-1 away from home.
85th minute, they were winning 1-0.
Were they really?
Woodbridge were winning 1-0 on the
85th. Jesus. Ely lost 1-0 to Fakenham. Clacton went out 1-0 to Leighton Town. Manchester and Northampton on Chenix drew 1-1. Hadley progressed to the next round. They won 2-0 at home.
That is a
the game.
huge result. Sorry for Hadley.
Yeah.
Hadley had between 9 and 11 players out, I think, for various reasons. So
Right.
to then have a 2-0 win, that's an incredible result. Literally, you cannot understate that.
Yeah. The game you sadly missed out on ended up being 1-1, so that game will go to a replay between Witton and Kempston. We also had Kirkley and Payfield and Long Melford drawing 1-1, Lake and Heath and Mull Barton drawing 2-2, Mildenhall beating Wroxham 1-0, Norwich United winning 2-1 at home, Stanway winning 1-0, which the goal has gone kind of viral online because of, I think it was a 17-year-old for Stanway scored the winner in the
Have you
FA
got it
Cup.
to show tonight?
I haven't, but I can easily bring up on the screen.
I just want everyone to see the goalkeeping.
Yes,
because it's so funny.
Yeah, I have. Let me bring it up.
It's absolute definition of pump a ball into the box, and just believe that things can go your way.
So here we go. So this is the goal. First of all, the free kick's shocking, but
what even was it?
He does well to keep the ball in play. Get it going again. Oh, that wind!
Wind. I love the fact they've got a full-on commentator.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So that was the winning goal for Stanway. Well done. In their game. And we saw Swaffham losing 3-0 to Walsham the Willows, and also Newmarket rather went through 3-1 away from home. You've kind of already talked about the Hadley result. Would you say that's your standout result from all of those?
Nope.
Okay.
Mildenhall 1, Wroxham 0. Not only did they beat Wroxham, they kept a clean sheet. That 2 achievements there.
Okay.
That's a very big result in context of how, I know it's FA Cup, but still, in terms of where we expected different people to be. I knew Mildenhall would be quite good, but 1-0 clean sheet, really, really solid.
Yeah,
love that.
Ollie has put disappointing by Woodbridge. I heard that they conceded 2 or 3 in the last 5 minutes. Well, yeah, according to Adam, they were 1-0 up until the 85th minute.
Yeah.
Maverick, it ain't over till it's over. Dan has said Stanway game was absolutely dire, apparently. So maybe the goal reflected the game, but a great moment for the young lads. So fair play to him. Gotta love that. And the celebrations were brilliant as well, which is what you want to see. Hannah happy for Mildenhall. It's a great result, isn't it? Really is a good result.
There's good result for Walsham as well against Swaffham. Do you think? That's a strong win, isn't it, against those two teams?
I mean, when you talk about the kind of not the issues, but the squad being kind of, there's a few players that kind of left the squad during the summer, and it wasn't quite the same team as what it was from last year. So to see them picking up a win is impressive. Especially in the manner that it is. You're keeping a clean sheet, scoring 3 away from home is impressive, no matter who you're playing against.
It's tidy.
It's a very, very good result. From the first page, I mean, probably the Hadley result probably stands out there.
Hadley result massively stands out, knowing the squad problems that they had.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things they're going to have to navigate over the next few weeks.
Dan, the goal definitely reflected the game. Well, there you go. So what that means, on the Ollie's comment. Let's not forget 1.1k for non-league clubs is very valuable after the last couple of years. Yeah, and again, as is it's the loser's fee might not seem as much as well, but that it could go some way towards a club as well. But
that just pays your wages for covering a match day experience, doesn't it, James?
Behave yourself. If I made that much from a match day experience, I'd give up my day job. Jesus. I've been doing 3 of these a week. I'd be absolutely no problem. Bloody hell. If only. So what that now means is that we do have a number of replays taking place this week, and these games will be part of the coverage that we have on non-league now on Tuesday night. Other than the 2 games which have been highlighted for being played on the Wednesday. So we've got Mulbarton versus Lakenheath, Witton versus Kempston, Haverhill Rovers and Long Melford versus Kirkby and Pakefield, and the Northampton on Chennex versus God Manchester Rovers game. So the 3 games taking place on the Tuesday and 2 games being taken place on the Wednesday. All kickoffs are 7:45.
I'd be shocked if that Melford game doesn't go all the way to penalties.
Yeah. No, I probably agree with you.
So maybe it's a good thing that isn't happening Tuesday night, because otherwise we'd be up all night.
Yeah. Harry Hadley's first FA Cup win in 5 years, which is brilliant.
Gotta love that, haven't you?
Absolutely. 100% love that.
You got the Lakenheath goal to pile in at that point.
Yes, we do. We do, actually. Very, 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 very well.
May as well keep all of the goals relevant to the slides that we're showing.
100%. So from the Lakenheath game, I don't know if you guys have seen this goal, but here it is. This is absolutely... I might replay that goal once again from Casey Underwood. Shall I watch it? I want to watch it.
Lads, get your VO.
Yeah, get your sponsorship in on that, and you're absolutely set.
Get VO sponsored, honestly.
That's a hell of a strike, and from a centre half, which is I know language, I know, but we're past the 9 p.m. watershed, so we can say what the hell we want. I was about to swear there, but I'm not going to. Do we have to watch it again? Yes, Jack. Yes, we do. I know it is against your club.
We'll return the favour, Jack, soon. I know you're getting a VO sorted.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to comment this exactly the same. That comment. What a fucking goal that was. Oh, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a goal. Dan, not better than the Claydon one. We will get on to
We're throwing shade early on, Dan.
Have you seen the Claydon goal?
No.
There's an argument. There's an argument to be had. That's all I'm going to say. But we'll get on to that in a minute. So, getting back to the score lines from the week, we had Furlough Nunn North result during the week, which was the Sheringham 2-0 win against Norwich CBS. A great result during the week, which was
really good for Sheringham.
Yes. Yeah, very, very good result from there. And then here are the results from the weekend. Adam, can you just read out a few of these, mate? I know you're dying to.
Distown 6, Wisbeach 2. Framlingham Town 0, Downham Town 1, Halston Town 2, UEA 1. Not got off to the flyer we expected. Huntington Down 2, Sheringham 0, Leiston Reserve 6, FC Parson Drove 0. Good grief. Peter. Oh no, I'm missing one. I'm not used to doing this. Norwich CBS 0. Norwich CBS have clearly resumed normal service. Debenham LC 2. Peterborough North End 1. Needham Market Reserves 1. And Whittlesea Athletic 1. Great Yarmouth Town 0. I am worried for Yarmouth. Bad start.
Yeah.
I'm really worried for Yarmouth.
Is that the one that kind of stands out?
It's just not a great start. It's not the one that stands out. I mean, Leiston Reserves banging a 6 past Parson Drove. Are Parson Drove any good? Could anyone tell me?
They've lost a few games now. Let's put it that way.
But still, like Leiston Reserves getting a 6-0, you wouldn't have seen that before, would you? Like last season, that's not the sort of return you got. And people have said Leicester reserves would be strong this year, but I said to you before, I love it when our reserve teams make their mark. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Dis, flipping heck, I can't remember the name of their striker they've got, but I think one of Dis's players, a striker whose name escapes me. I'm going to kick myself when someone tells me he got 4 on his own on Saturday against Wisbech. So, I mean, Wisbech are just doing Wisbech things, aren't they?
Yeah. Ollie, I watched Huntington down at Debenham as my non-league club going there tomorrow. They are good, especially the defence. They're very solid. They will be up there. They've done well.
That's a good bit of knowledge for us because we don't know anything about them.
Yeah. Very, very true. Very, very true. So, so they were. So that they are the results from the weekend. So during the week, in the Furlough None North, we have got the following games on. So Debenham versus Holston, Dis versus UEA, Parsons Drove versus Wisbech. So both teams who have lost their opening games coming head to head. Something's got to give. Framlingham versus Leiston, and Whittlesea Athletic versus Downham Town. So they will be the games that we will be covering. The Whittlesea game is on the Wednesday, I believe. I think that was the only one from the game that was on the Wednesday. I could be wrong on that one.
Thank you to I'm Already Dead, pointing out it's Ryan Gibbs, who is the striker that Dis has got, who is absolutely lethal. That game is shaping up to be the pick of the bunch because UEA I expected to fly out, and that obviously hasn't happened so far. Dis have had a good start compared to how last season went, and they've got some good players in. So Parson drove nil Wisbech now. We can only hope.
I don't think that will be the case with both defences. I reckon it's going to be like a 5-5.
10-10.
Something mental.
You've never seen anything like this ever before.
Right. And then the Furlough None North fixtures on the weekend. We've got Debenham versus Yarmouth, Parsons Drove versus Framlingham, Holston versus Peterborough North End, Leiston versus Huntington, Needham Market versus Sheringham, Norwich CBS versus Downham, Whittlesea versus Dis, and Wisbech versus the UEA. So some big games coming up on the weekend. You Eagle Eyes amongst you will have noticed that I did miss out the Furlough None Prem. So let's just take a quick step back to that. So the midweek action that took place, it was Fakenham 3, Norwich United 1, Hadley 2, Witton 3, which is the game you were covering.
Worst refereeing experience I've ever had.
Sorry?
Worst refereeing experience I've ever seen.
Was it really that bad?
Absolutely awful. Well, a Hadley player got booked for heading the ball.
Right.
He jumped up for a header, came down, booked.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Right.
2 red cards and a sin bin.
Right.
So I think I showed you the straight red, didn't I?
I sent you.
It's unbelievable. Witten's player got a straight red and just ridiculous, honestly.
Right.
But he lost control of it early doors, and that was it, really.
Right. Kirkley and Pakefield drew 2-2 with Mulbarton. Kirkley were 2-0 up before throwing away a 2-goal lead in that game. March versus Lakenheath, which went back and forth. Jesus Christ, so many times during that game. It was crazy. Mildenhall versus Ely was the game that Dan was covering. They ended up being 4-2 to Mildenhall. Newmarket won 3-0 against Long Melford. And thanks to, name escapes me, and this is really bad from me. Someone was covering the game, and I can't remember who it was now. That is shocking, but somebody was covering the game, so we managed to get some of the goals from that. Swaffham 0, Galston 2, Woodbridge losing 2-0 to Brantham, and Wroxham winning 7-2 against Thetford. And thanks to Lee for sending in all of the goal highlights from the Wroxham game, which we managed to be able to play and live stream throughout the match. Throughout the live show was absolutely fantastic. Any sort of, obviously, other than the Witton game on there, for me, Norwich United losing to Fakenham is a big, big scoreline. Would you?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we were talking about. Norwich United haven't lost for an incredibly long amount of time. And to be honest, Fakenham is not the team I expected to take that crown away from them. But on the day, this league's going to be open, I think, this year. We saw Mildenhall. I know it was in the FA Cup, but beating Wroxham at the weekend, absolutely pounding Thetford midweek. I think Thetford would have been praying for the full-time whistle in that game. But
there you go, Fakenham looking strong according to user Fox on there.
That's amazing though. Like that for a team coming up, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's great to see. Great to see. James, was that the Wroxham Thetford game? Definitely got plenty of goals for the admission. Yeah, no, you really did. Honestly, Lee did incredibly well to keep up with that, send those across to me as the game was going on. So fair play to him.
Good result for Newmarket though. Let's not forget that one because, 3-0 against Melford. I think it's another vital result and no goals conceded. So,
do you agree with this comment? Worrying for Long Melford?
I'm really worrying for Swaffham. I think I do worry a bit for Melford, if I'm honest, but I always think they've got it in them to grind out some cheeky points. I don't think playing against Newmarket is representative of a worry because I think Newmarket will be right up there. Swaffham, however, I can't see where Swaffham's points are going to come from at the moment. There's been changes there and stuff, so it's going to take time to bed in. I think before the season started, a few people said like Thetford would probably, wouldn't be a pushover like they were before, and then losing 7-2. I know Wroxham are a very good side, so again it's a bit of a hard one, but no one wants to concede 7 in a game, do they?
I think the comments that I was getting a lot during the live show was how Thetford just basically stood off Wroxham and allowed them to play. They were allowing a lot of passes to go around, and you can't.
That's 101 stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't allow that.
Not with the quality they've got as well, like in Wroxham's team. Like, there's no denying it. Wroxham are a very solid team.
Sorry. I've just seen this. Check DMs, guys. Something for tomorrow's show. Adam, you are going to absolutely love this, my friend. You are going to love this. I'm going to get up on the screen now for everyone to see. We've got this for tomorrow's live show. Oh, my God.
This is the one.
This is so good. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, well, there we go.
How have you created that so quickly? That is unbelievable. I love that. Oh, there we go. Anyway, so that's for tomorrow night. Enjoy that, guys, if you're around. Anyway, let's get back to the scores, shall we? Where were we? Oh, bloody hell.
We were just critiquing the Tuesday
night.
Yes,
we were. Yes, we were.
So, that Galston Swaffham game, that's like a bit of a local derby, isn't it? So, just going back to that, I think Galston will be happy to take a 2-0 away from that, but Swaffham very concerned about. Other than that, there isn't too much in there. I'd expect Kirkley and Mulbarton to get a draw, but I think Mulbarton have actually had a good start to the season in the league.
Yeah. I think what was very impressive from that part, as I said, is that Kirkley, the moment that second goal went in for them, I thought, right, that's game done. But Mulbarton to come back in the last 10 minutes to get 2 goals was very, very impressive on the night.
Yeah,
to kind of witness that, they were very, very good.
So see, James, that comment is incredible for context.
Yeah,
it's stuff like that will help when we go through things on the Tuesday night live shows.
Correct.
To give things.
Yes. But that's the thing. Me doing the live shows now means I understand what happened in the Kirkley game. It now means I understand what happened in the Mildenhall-Ely match.
Yeah.
That the scorelines may look a certain way, but the game doesn't necessarily reflect that. So, yeah, exactly it. The more knowledge we get, the more guys, the more we have from you sending stuff into us, the better.
I've got to admit, I did chuckle to myself a bit being at the Hadley-Witton game with Hadley scoring after 1 minute. And I was like, well, this is going to be a fast start for James.
Yeah.
And then pretty much straight up the other end, Witton go and bang one in.
Yeah, they did, yeah. So, gotta love it.
Any more highlights out of there to pull, or have you got?
No, not from that one. They were all presented on the live show at the time. So here are the midweek action that we've got coming up for tomorrow. So we've got Bramford versus Hadley, Galston versus Fakenham, and Thetford versus Walsham the Willows. And then the games on the weekend is Wroxham versus Long Melford, Galston versus Thetford, Hadley versus Fakenham, Mildenhall versus Kirkley, Mulbarton versus Brantham, Norwich versus March, Swaffham versus Ely, Walsham versus Haverhill. We've then got Whitton versus Lakenheath and Woodbridge versus Newmarket. So some big games coming up on there. Any one particular one stand out for you this weekend? We've already had somebody in the comments say Whitton versus Lakenheath's going to be a belter.
Yeah,
I saw that comment. I saw that comment earlier on in the chat.
That will be a very good game. I think there's some more games that you'd expect to be a little bit more cut and dried as you go through. I mean, calling out early, you'd expect Wroxham, Galston, Hadley, Fakenham's going to be tight.
Yeah,
if I'm honest, because Hadley are down players, so Fakenham could find themselves, if it doesn't come together for Hadley again being short, then Fakenham could find themselves on a good streak. You'd probably then go Mildenhall. I mean, Barton have got a tricky game there. I'd probably go Brantham.
Yeah.
Going down Norwich, Ely, Walsham, draw probably between Whitton and Lakenheath, and then Newmarket. I think they're a little bit more straightforward to call this week.
Okay, fair enough.
What Venables has put in there at the bottom, there isn't a single game though that you look at and you think that is going to be rubbish.
Yeah, very true.
They're really closely matched, or there's going to be some real quality on show.
Yeah, User Fox, Mulbarton versus Brantham will be very again. You could literally plot. You could pick me up and plot me in going off to watch any one of these games, and I wouldn't.
You'd have a whale of time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed with any of them, quite frankly, because they all look great. They all look superb on paper.
Spending a bit of time on this league, you look at Wroxham's start to the league, and they've had some quite easy fixtures. You look at Mulbarton's start, and it's been horrible. Mulbarton have had some really tough games, like Mildenhall, Kirkley, then Brantham, and Kirkley being away. I think it was, wasn't it? It's just a pretty rotten start for them.
Yeah. Again, you look at Woodbridge though, and it's exactly the same for them. They've had an unbelievably tough start.
Yeah, like going to, at least they're at home against Newmarket. Newmarket struggle away from home. It's not an unspoken thing. Newmarket have got an absolutely beautiful facility to play football on, but coming away from that is a bit harder, though it's easier at this time of the year when the grass is in better condition and it's not quite as soft underfoot. So,
no, fair on that one. Furlong and South time. Here are the midweek results. We had Burnham Ramblers 4-1 against Coggeshall. Ipswich Wanderers beating Cornard 3-1 away from home. And again, thank you very much to Jacob Lay for coming on the show afterwards and giving us a bit of an interview about what happened. That was absolutely massively appreciated. Frentford 3 all against May and Baker. Housestead 4-2 against Wivenhoe. And again, thank you to Spencer for giving us the footage and goal highlights of the Housestead game. That was very, very much appreciated.
Great work from both teams there. It's brilliant to get Jacob on and for Ipswich Wanderers to come out and support the show afterwards as well, saying they'll help support, and that's massively appreciated to move this forward.
And to Kelly from Ipswich Wanderers as well for giving us the halftime report was brilliant.
I saw that. That was absolutely awesome. Both with a pint in hand.
Yeah, but that's non-league.
That's what it's about,
it's brilliant. It's exactly 100% what it's about.
Absolutely awesome. So big shout out to them.
Yeah. Wormley Rovers 1, Berkhurst Hill 3, Brimsdown 1, Benfleet 4. The Harwich versus Sudbury game was postponed. Parkview 1, Hackney Wick 2. The weekend result: May and Baker 3-1 against Holland. AFC Sudbury Reserves 1-1 against Wormley Rovers. Warmley Rovers, remember? I don't know. Barkingside 3-1 against Haverhill Borough. Benfleet 2, Parkview 4, Berkhurst Hill 4, Housestead 1. Coggeshall losing 3-0 to Hackney Wick. I think Coggeshall have lost all 3 of their opening games.
Hackney Wick, it's an unbelievable start for them.
Yeah.
For those 2 games. They sort of serial 15th place in that league.
That's it. Cornard 1-1 against Harwich. Frentford 1-1 against Burnham Ramblers. The Ipswich game has been it's gone down as abandoned on the site. I don't know officially yet what it's gone down as in terms of the score.
We'll just put pending.
Yeah, we'll put a pending on that one. And Wivenhoe 4-0 against Newbury Forest. We've got midweek action, which again we will be covering the Sudbury and the Wivenhoe games on the show because they are being taken place on the Tuesday, and then the Hackney Wick and Holland games are being taken place on the Wednesday. We've got one game taking place on Friday night, which is Haverhill Borough. So if you are in the area, want some action to watch on Friday night before the weekend kicks off, you can make your way down to Haverhill and watch their game against May and Baker.
Baker meant to be a good side as well, aren't they? So good one to get down to.
Yeah, I think so. Really do. And then there's a whole host of games taking place on the Saturday. Benfleet versus Cornard, Buckhurst versus Wivenhoe, Burnham Ramblers versus Sudbury, Coggeshall versus Frentford, who have drawn all three of their games. Hackney Wick versus Barkingside, Harwich versus Warmley, Holland versus Brimstown, Ipswich versus Newbury, and Parkview versus Halstead Town. So yeah, they're all the Furling and South results. Before we get into the SIL, because I know we've got a couple of goal highlights to show from there, just to make everybody aware, we have got the opening round of fixtures being taken place for steps 3 and also for steps 4. So if we start off with the Southern League Premier Central, I suppose the games are really matter for teams in our area.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Just a couple of call-outs, really, isn't it, to our local teams?
Exactly, yeah. Leiston are away from home against Bromsgrove Sporting. We've got Needham, who are also away against Hednesford Town, and Lowestoft are the only team from this area who start off their campaign at home, and they are against Barwell.
Lots of recent signings for Lowestoft, so that'll be really good to see how that comes in after the weekend. So I'd urge people to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah. Ishmead North fixtures are starting this weekend. We've got AFC Sudbury versus Aveley, Dereham versus Haybridge Swifts. Felixstowe are at home against Basildon. We've got Bury Town away from home against Grays Athletic. We've also got the Stowmarket versus Canvey Island game, which again, a team from our area and our neck of the woods. And again, if you're looking for any Sunday non-league action, you can go down to watch #United versus Coggeshall Town. Adam, I expect to see you there, my friend.
Unfortunately, no. I've got to sort of cut my fingernails. So a far more pressing issue than watching #.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah, so there are those games. Right, let's get on to the SIL side of things, because have you seen the score lines from the SIL before we bring them up on the screen?
No, I don't know why, but I just didn't really. All I know is #penalties or Penley, whichever way you want to put it.
Some of these score lines, wait for this. Here we go. Look at some of those score lines from this weekend. So let's start off. Benall St Mary 1, Ipswich Vale Exiles 4, Bilderston 1, Achilles 4,
Bilderston, they're in the mud again, aren't they?
Christ, let's not start this again.
Well, no, last time I did it, it worked, and they turned their fortunes around and had a really good season. So
you just redeemed yourself.
Exactly.
Capel Plough 1, Halesworth 3, Claydon 3, Trimley 2, Henley 7, Leyton St Margaret's 0, Westerfield 5, Copplestonians 5.
The poor referee at that Westerfield game. So his whistle constantly, just getting everyone back to the blooming centre circle.
So the game that had the fewest goals in was 4 in that division. 4 goals was the fewest you could have seen this weekend.
Madness.
My God, we have kick-started things off this season in incredible style. Fair play to everyone connected with this division. We do have a few goals to show you from this game. Starting off with the Henley game, we've got some of their goals coming in to be able to show you. So here we go. So, 3 penalties.
Goal 5 in that wasn't very very nice for the goalkeepers to have to watch back, was it? Poor guy.
So there we go. Let's get some of your comments up on the screen here. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to play Claydon. I'm going to play Claydon's.
I heard there was a good goal in the Claydon game.
Yeah, here we go, mate. Watch this. Right, everyone in the comment section right now, Claydon or Lakenheath?
That weren't bad for something that came off his shin, was it?
Which of the games is the better goal? Let me know. I'm going to play it one more time. Here we go. Claydon or Lakenheath? Get it in the comments right now. I want to hear which one. Which let us know. Adam, where do you even begin to start talking about the results from this game? Some of these games that absolutely unbelievable. Achilles one, did you kind of see that one coming? Because
No.
Terry's coming here on here. Bilderson was a shock for me, but they had injuries and also isolating, which could be.
So a perfect start though to Achilles in a new era. So hats off.
Yeah.
IVE, or whatever we're going to call them these days. Kempson scoring 3. I mean, what happened to him being a defender once upon a time? He'd be a step 3 player if he carries on playing up front like this.
Tony, at 16 minutes, there was 3 penalties. The first half hat-trick for Clark Bruce. Hashtag Penley, hashtag SIL Messi. Ipswich just said, Adam, we have a clip in the group chat of you saying that teams will be laughing at us.
Well, if it's making you win, I'll take some credit. Because that's one heck of a result.
Oh, dear me. Mickey, unbelievable from Ipswich Vale Exiles. David Kempson with a hat-trick. What a player. James has put, this reminds me of the Boxing Day results from the 50s. Yeah, that every Boxing Day, that one image appears, doesn't it? The same image time and time again. People think they're being so original with it. But yeah, no, you are dead right. Some of these results really do remind you of that. Lakenheath have put, the Claydon goal wasn't in the 99th minute. That's what I say.
I do tend to agree. It's got a bit of cup magic about that Lakenheath goal.
Yeah, Sean saying Lakenheath, Andy saying Lakenheath. Lakenheath because the keeper didn't get a hand on it. Irv is saying Claydon, easy one. Ollie has to be Claydon, sorry. No surprise here. Dan's gone with Claydon. Claydon fans in the Twitter page are so annoying. That's why I'm definitely going for Lakenheath. Claydon caught it on full range and it's a banger.
Hello, Ben. I haven't seen Ben creep in.
Liam Claydon just to annoy Vinny. Jack says, wow, I'd still say Lakenheath, less time to react to it.
That was against Jack's team.
Vinny's put, Kempson was only up front for 20 minutes. He scored 2 goals whilst at centre-back. There you go.
He's some player, that lad. He really is.
Corley's put on here, both very good strikes, but I have to give it to Lakenheath purely because of the timing and the fact that it's in the FA Cup. There you go. So some brilliant results from this weekend. Just want to give a special shout out to the 10 goals in the Westerfield Cops game. Like, honestly, trying to keep up with that on Saturday when I was meant to be socializing was quite interesting. Brilliant. Trying to keep up with that Twitter feed on the weekend was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, fair play to him.
This has set some standard, though, I'll say, for the season.
Yeah, it really has. SIL senior results, fixtures rather coming up for the weekend. So we've got Bilderson versus Ransom Sports, Claydon versus East Burgold, Hellsworth versus Bennell, Hawley versus Capel Plough, Old Newton versus Henley, Trimley versus Cops, and Westerfield versus Achilles. So for Old Newton, for Hawley, for East Burgold, and for Ransoms, they're all going to be kick-starting their season this weekend. I'm sure I can't remember the reason why, but I'm sure there must be a reason why those four weren't able to play against each other.
Champions League.
I can't remember the reason, but there must be something. I'm sure somebody in the comment section will let me know. I mean, standout game from this one. Jesus, it's
Westerfield for me.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting now.
Okay, cool. I like it. Any particular reason?
Well, Westerfield were a little bit underdogs. Am I okay to say that? Am I going to get? I don't know. I didn't know what to expect from Westerfield. I certainly didn't know what to expect from Achilles, and I was a bit worried about them. And well, they've both scored a lot of goals already in the first game. I just want to see how they do coming up against each other, to be honest. So yeah, that's the one I'm going to call out.
Dan's Westerfield game will be a good game as well. That's the reason. 3 clubs closed the date, said that they couldn't play on that one. That's the reason why. I knew there was a reason. I knew there was a reason why. But yeah, so all 4 teams kickstarting their campaign. I quite like the look of. I want to see how Ben will react to that opening day defeat. It's a bloody tough ask to go away to Halesworth, but I want to see how they react. So that's going to be my game.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy game.
Old Newton versus Henley, says Maverick on here. Terry, Old Newton versus Henley would be an absolutely shit banger of a game. Haven't heard anybody describe a football match as a shit banger of a game, but fair play. Nathan has put on here, if Achilles play like they did on Saturday, they will win. They are a very fit side as well. That's an interesting take on that one.
Yeah.
I like it. Inside knowledge on that one. Fair play, mate. So yeah, and to round things off, we've got the other 3 divisions in the SIL kicking off their campaigns this weekend. In Div 1, we have Bacton versus Sporting, Coddenham versus AFC Kesgrave, Grunsborough versus Stowe Falcons, Stanton versus Tattingstone, Wenneston versus Southall. Did I get that right? Please say I got it right. So Wenneston?
Wenneston, that'll do, James. That's close enough.
Yay!
It's not right, but it's close enough.
Okay. Oh, damn it. Versus Southwold, and Wickham Market versus Bramford Road Old Boys. Which one's a standout? There's some very good games in that. Bacton versus Sporting.
Changes, but I think Bacton Sporting is the big one. Bacton have recruited well.
Yes, so I was told.
Strong players have dropped in there, so.
And I'm sure my prediction of me not necessarily saying they're going to get relegated, but me being worried about them will be proven wrong. And I'm sure I'll have many people responding to me at the end of the season. But fair play. Go on, lads. Prove me wrong. But yeah, they start.
Up the 89.
Yeah, 89 versus 87, boy. Div 2, Elmswell versus Wolferston, Ipswich Athletic versus Saxmundham, Curtin versus Cockfield, Somersham versus the Whitnesham Wasps, Stonham Aspel versus Melton, and Ufford versus Thurston. Some big games in there. I want to see how Elmswell do now that their squad is going to be a bit revamped this season and how that's going to look. I want to see how Whitnesham compete in at this level. Stonham are an interesting team. I don't really know an awful lot about what's happened to them during pre-season, so I don't really know how they're going to start things off. And against Melton is not an easy team to go and play against.
No, I wouldn't expect them to get away from the races against Melton.
Yeah. The Grunsbury game back from Div 1, says Dan. Elmswell for me, says Dan on that one. Mickey says Stowe Falcons are in for a stuffing. I wonder why. And then Div 3, AFC Wanderers versus Needham Market Phoenix, Bardwell versus Leiston Youth, Great Blakenham versus Unity, Hope Church versus Aldborough, Laxfield versus Kesgrave Kestrel, Stage versus Ockhold, and Wortham versus Bromford. And again, I think I'd say probably like Div 1 and Div 2. I think both leagues are going to be ones that we will know more about what's going on after a few of the opening games to see
let the first 3 or 4 weeks play out, haven't you?
Yeah, I think with a lot of these clubs, because they're not as active on social media and we don't get to see a lot of the ins and outs that happen, unless we're kind of informed about it, it's very difficult to kind of gauge an opinion on what's kind of going on at that level of the game. So we'll see. As I said, the opening few weekends will give us a bit of an indicator as to where we stand. But yeah, good to see the rest of those divisions are kicking things off this weekend. Adam, round things off for tonight's show with the Super Six. I know we're not doing league tables at the moment, but
league table starts next week.
I was just going to ask, when are we bringing the league tables in?
Yeah. Next week we're starting because it'll be week 3. There's going to be enough difference, I think, looking at the 2-week scores, to make a league table up by next week. So get your scores in. The competition is well underway.
Okay, there we go. So here are the games that we are covering.
Look at the spread, James. Look at the spread.
Oh, dude, I was literally just about to say I do love a good spread, but that just sounds horrifically wrong. I'm getting the survey into the chat right now. It's being posted to Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. All that good stuff. Make sure you get your predictions in. So we've gone for one game from kind of each level just to kind of give it a bit of an even split. So yeah, Bromsgrove Sporting versus Leiston, Stonemarket versus Canvey Island, Woodbridge versus Newmarket, Norwich CBS versus Downham, Old Newton versus Henley, and Bacton versus Sporting. You must get your predictions in, complete your survey by this Saturday at 12 o'clock. Make sure you get your predictions in. And as Adam said, from next week, we will be able to give you the start of the league table to show who is where. And just as a cheeky plug, if any companies want to sponsor the Super 6 part of the show, we do have a sponsorship available. Make sure you get in contact with either myself or Adam, and we'll see what we can try and sort out for you. Adam, do you want to make any predictions on this? Because you said to me off camera, you're not entering. And I think the people are going to be pissed off with that. Why are you not entering in the Super 6? Because I am. I'm going to
because if I was to win, I'd void the prize anyway. So
yeah, but you're not going to win.
Well, I did a damn sight better than you did last season.
Yeah, but you didn't win.
Probably top 6. So, yeah. You've got me to nibble now. God's sake.
What game are you looking forward to? What game are you going to hang your hat on a prediction? Come on, if you're not going to fit it in, let's get your predictions in.
Hang my hat on a prediction?
Yeah.
Henley 2, Old Newton 1.
Ooh, there you go. Fair play to you, mate. Fair play. Yeah, as I said, make sure you get all of your predictions in before Saturday at 12 p.m. We'll be posting reminders throughout the week on our socials, so make sure you don't forget to fill in the survey. So, I'm just going to read off a few more comments from people before we kind of wrap things up tonight. Mickey, the fact that Bardwell and Bromford are not in this division is a joke. Yeah, we've kind of covered that in a bit of detail. James has put on here, I know you cover a lot of leagues, but are there any plans for Anglian Com? Few Suffolk teams are in there, like Brandon, Waveney, Thetford Rovers, Bungay, Becclesstown, etc. I
think we desperately want to do it.
We want to. It's the time aspect of it. I don't think people understand the time effort that goes into putting these shows and these graphics and these slides together. It's a lot of time at the moment.
I think, put it this way, it'll become it'll franchise itself is the way. And it's at that point where we're already in discussions and have other ones ready to go. We're waiting on a few bits of technology, but we'll be able to have the Sunday non-league show ready. Like, we'll have one for women's football that needs a bit more work, but it's virtually ready. But we can easily move to Norfolk non-league show and change things over. Essex non-league show. And we can start getting things divided out a bit more.
I think if you see how long it takes to just cover the divisions that we do, if we were to then add in even more on top of it tonight, I mean, we could be here till midnight talking about different divisions, and look, we'd be quite up for it, but it's a loss of time, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I suppose the other bit to it as well is we have guests that are waiting in the wings that want to be want to come on. I want to speak to us, and those can be local people. I mean, one of the ones I've had a chat with this week is David Bajara, who is Middlesbrough's chief scout for their female football. And they've got loads of experience as a scout anyway. And so he's somebody I'm going to be looking to get onto the show and really to give some insight into scouting amongst non-league and what's being looked at and how the England's DNA format applies to scouting and what we can look for really. Because no doubt in non-league there are talents and we have seen them very recently progress. And I think it'd be a really nice topical thing to bring in. So there's loads of stuff like that is also waiting. So,
but yes, to answer your question, James, we want to. It's something we definitely will be looking into sorting out, but it probably won't be a part of this show. It will have to be something as a separate entity moving forward. But watch your space.
We'll recruit and grow.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that is going to round up tonight's show. Thank you, everyone who has been involved. Honestly, it's just the comments and the viewership in the first hour and 30 minutes was just absolutely insane. So thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in. Really, really cannot thank you enough for that. If you are around tomorrow night, make sure you join myself and Adam for Non-League Now, where we'll be going through and reacting to all of the non-league scores as they come in from the FA Cup, from the Furlough None Prem and the Furlough None North and South as those goals go in. We can't wait to bring you another episode of that. If you're at a game, contact me. We'll make sure we can try and get you on the show to either give reports during the game, whether or not you want to give halftime reviews, etc., whatever the case. If you're recording, send us your footage in. We'll show it live on the show, just like we did last week. Really, really excited and can't wait to get that show going up again. But yeah, that's where we're going to round things up tonight. Adam, any final words from you before we close the show?
Thank you for bearing with us as we change things. And thank you for remaining sensible and everything tonight as we discussed a really serious and quite difficult to address topic. Quite proud of the community in general as to the way that it's all been handled tonight and been discussed openly. But yeah, been a really, really good night on here. And hopefully people grow in confidence as we grow in confidence to do the Non-League Now show, and we make that your show, not ours.
Exactly. Lakeney, cheers, lads. Dan, cheers, boys. Great branch in the chat. If you want us to, we can talk about it tomorrow night. I'm sure we can fit it in at some point.
They're playing tomorrow night, so we'll probably cover them anyway because it's local football, but it's not non-league.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get their scores up on. I have something I want to say about Ipswich and with non-league side of it, but I don't want to say it in this particular show. But I will talk about it tomorrow if you can't, if people want me to.
Check Book FC.
Because I'm not happy. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, we'll round off the show on that note. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, before you disappear tonight, give the video a like, share it around, retweet it, all of that good stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as we are heading towards 1,800 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. Until then, as always, everybody, adios.